You're still a very busy girl.
Yes.
I know you're rushing off after this. And every time I kind of look at your Instagram and I know you're all over, you're doing loads of things.
Yeah.
How are you feeling? Are you feeling okay, or is it all getting a bit too much?
No, I love it. I love it. I think I absolutely love being busy. I always say the best thing about being busy is when I'm not doing anything, I'm like, I should be doing something. I've got like an itch I can't scratch. So yeah, I love it. It keeps me busy. We've got lots of opportunities. I am literally a yes person. I say yes to everything. Sometimes my friend Erica, she always says, Meryl, you have to stop saying yes to everything. But I always say, if you say yes to something, you never know what that leads to. So many opportunities come from just saying yes to one thing. So yeah, I am very busy. I take on a lot more than I can handle, but it's all managing so far so well, touch wood. So
good. Yeah. And have you ever regretted saying yes to something?
I mean, well, it's actually quite funny. We said yes to it was like a press night at Deep Sea World, and me and I like kids from a distance, but I wouldn't put myself in a situation. Maybe one day I might have kids, but I wouldn't put myself in a situation where I'd have to be in really close proximity with them. And I said yes again. I didn't really read it very well, and I was like, let's go. And then we went. Me, Erica, and our cousin went, and it was literally like a kid's birthday party, and it was like in a small room, and I was like, okay, this is a lot. So yeah, I'd probably say that was the time I regretted saying yes. I probably would have been like, I will sit this one out. You guys can go, but I'll sit this one out. So yeah,
that does sound horrendous.
It wasn't, and there was lots of like boogies, and there's crisp packets, and there was like snacks, and it was a lot.
Okay. So
Overstimulation.
No going back to Deep Sea World.
No going back to Deep Sea World. Unless they had a private screen and just me, myself, and I. And I could maybe bring my dog so we can just run.
Okay.
But I highly doubt. I'm not on that level.
Well, it's lovely to see you and speak to you properly. I feel like I've seen you around at lots of kind of events in Edinburgh. Yes. But I was doing a kind of deep dive into your life, and it's so interesting. Like, for someone so young, you've packed so much in, and I know there's so much to come. But I'd love to talk a bit about your background. Okay. And we were speaking earlier about ChatGPT, and I went into AI to see if it could do me a little intro. So you can tell me how accurate this is. Because I know you've got problems with Google, so we'll see how this is. So it says that you're a dynamic individual. They use dynamic quite a lot. Whose journey has inspired many. Born on May 21st, 1996.
Well done.
In Edinburgh, Scotland. In Edinburgh.
No.
See, this is why I was like, first paragraph. I feel that's not right. It was not
South
Edinburgh.
Africa.
Yes.
Yeah. But I think because I maybe said in interviews I live in Scotland or I live in Edinburgh, they've probably just like automatically assumed that I was born in Edinburgh.
Right.
I think. So yeah, I think it's because I've said that.
So okay.
But,
so already we've got mistakes here, though, that are I could have done better. So Meryl has faced the challenges of achondroplasia.
Achondroplasia, yeah.
Achondroplasia.
It's quite a tongue twister.
A form of dwarfism with unwavering determination.
It's going to make my head very big. It's not going to be able to fit out the door.
In 2022, Meryl stepped into the spotlight as contestant on the BBC's reality series The Traitors. Her strategic acumen and resilience led her to become one of the 3 winners, sharing a prize of 101,000. So far, so good.
So far, so good.
Following her victory, Meryl left her role as a call centre agent to pursue a career in television presenting.
Yes, I've not got the presenting bit, but yes, I did leave my job,
She said, it's always been my dream from such a young age to have my own TV show, Minutes with Meryl.
Yes.
What was that going to be like?
Always wanted to do. I mean, even in primary school, I had a whole little setup. Like, I had someone be the weather, someone be the news, someone be the camera, someone be the sound, and you'd have like the smart board projector, and it was every golden time. I was like, right, who's working for me? And I'd be like, come on, guys. I'm like, Meryl, come on. I'm like, we've only got 30 minutes. Let's do it. I'm like, welcome back to Minutes with Meryl. And today's episode we'll be discussing. So yeah, I've always wanted to do that. And now obviously we have our podcast, which is incredible because I feel like I'm living that dream through that, you know, having our own little show and stuff. And I think it's a lot easier having, I have a podcast with Erica, and it's so good bouncing off each other. I think I would have struggled if I'd done something on my own, especially starting off. So yeah, but that's always been my dream, to have Minutes with Meryl, or, you know, ever since I was like 5.
So you've basically manifested it.
It does work. Manifestation.
I was just about to ask, do you think it works?
Kind of, yes. I mean, obviously, like, I was like, I wanted to do it. We wanted to do the podcast. I was like, let's get this ball going. We found the studio. We found everything. So yeah, if you have that, at least I've always known what I want to do from the beginning, if you get me.
Absolutely. Meryl's participation in the Traitors, it talks about that. Meryl's journey exemplifies courage and determination. Her story continues to inspire many as she advocates for greater understanding and inclusivity.
Yes.
Nice.
Yeah, I think that's good. Yeah.
Well, apart from the Edinburgh thing, we got a bit wrong. So you were born in South Africa, and when I was listening to you on one of your podcasts with Erica, you were talking about your upbringing, and South Africa sounded like a really tough place to grow up, and you were faced with quite a lot at a young age. Tell me about what it was like growing up.
Yeah, so it was quite hard. I mean, I left South Africa when I was 6 years old. So me and my mum immigrated over just literally with 2 suitcases, and that was it. So my parents divorced when I was 3, and we moved to another part of South Africa called Himpangeni, which is about 8 hours away from where my dad was living. But I think with my condition and living in South Africa, especially in 1996, there wasn't a lot of like awareness and acceptability, and especially about education and like even a lot of information. There wasn't a lot as it was quite far behind compared to the UK. So I think even as well as a lot of people in South Africa hadn't seen anyone that was little and hadn't seen anyone that had this condition. So I think I was kind of seen as this like mythical, aspect, like mythical person. Which was a big contributing factor of why we moved to the UK. I think in one of the episodes we spoke about how I was used, someone asked to buy me, and obviously in South Africa they have muti murders, which is like where they sacrifice to get like higher powers for the gods, and so they'll do sacrificial for animals and they'll do sacrificial murders for like other things. But obviously with someone who's little and with someone who's so unique and different, they thought that they would get an eternal power. But obviously that was the one instinct, as well as all the other crimes. My mom was like, no, I'm done. So my mom's a teacher. Well, she's retired recently, so she just got a work permit and she got bought over by a teaching agency. So we literally moved in December, and we moved across to Essex in Basildon, and then we lived there for a couple of years. And yeah, it was good, but obviously it was hard leaving all our family behind. But growing up in South Africa, it was good, but it's not for the faint-hearted. I think with crime and I don't think there's a lot of awareness that it's as bad as it is until you actually go there. You're like, oh, it's quite bad.
And you were living in a gated community, weren't you? And you mentioned Oscar Pistorius.
Yeah.
My goodness. Were you a neighbour of his?
So my dad actually lives in an estate opposite his estate. So yeah. So his estate is literally across the road from my dad's estate, and his is a gated community as well. So like to drive into my dad's estate, you have to you scan your fingerprints, and then they read that, and then they open up, and they have guards and stuff, and they have electric fences, and inside the estate it's like paradise. It's like they have a golf course, they have a golf club, they have a shop, and it's like you can walk around at night, it's totally fine. And then when you go outside the estate, it's not fine. Like when you're driving along bypass, like highways we call them, there'll be like hijacking zones. So they'll be like, you cannot stop no matter what on this highway, even if the police are following you, because it's a hijacking zone. So they'll literally hijack you. Like my mom, we've been burgled. Like there's so many things. So I think that was a big reason why I wanted to have a normal like upbringing. So my mom was like, I want you to be able to go out and just not have to like look over your shoulder every 2 minutes.
Your mum sounds like a really strong woman. I know you're very close to her and your gran.
Yeah. So I think those are the 2 most important people in my life, is my mum and my gran. They're like my support system from the very beginning. Yeah. And my gran immigrated. My gran had passed in South Africa. So after he passed, she immigrated over to the UK because she had a British passport. So she moved over here about 6 years ago. So yeah, ever since she's moved back, it's been really good because I've had my gran back. Because I used to always only see her like once a year, twice a year. So now it's quite good. Yeah.
And she's handy. I saw a video of you.
Yeah.
How did you know I was going to say that?
Yeah, everyone always says that. The first thing, but she's been in Australia. So she comes back. She's been in Australia. Her son lives there. So she's been there for, oh my goodness, how long has she been there for? 2 months. So she comes back next week, and I'm very excited. I have got a pile of clothes. And I'm excited to see her, obviously. But I have got a pile of clothes ready for her with her name on them. And I'm like, can't wait to wear them. Because I couldn't bring myself to pay. And I looked at an alteration lady, and I think I bought a top, and it was like £15. And the lady's going to charge me £30 to take the sleeves off. I was like, that makes that top like £45. And I'm like,
I'll just wait for my gran.
Yeah, I'll just wait for my gran. Who needs that top anyway? So yeah, but I've been very fortunate. Like I think, I've not got a lot of family. I've just got my mom and my gran, and my dad obviously lives in South Africa. But that's it. So I think I've got like the bit like quality over quantity.
Nice.
If you get me. So yeah.
And I know that you moved into that. You mentioned it a bit in your podcast, but you moved into that house in Essex, but it sounded like you didn't have much. It was like one room and you didn't have much money. Tell me, because I know you talked about you don't really like Christmas as a result because of that.
I think I really, so I don't really celebrate Christmas. So I try not religiously. I'm not really a
Because
Christmas
of that memory, or
I think I've never really had that like family aspect, so I think I really struggle to have like, you know, it's quite a family orientated time, so I don't really, you know, because I don't have that, so I just try and like ignore Christmas. Obviously I know it's like a very like jolly time and stuff, and I went to, what did I do? I went to pantomime last night, so I'm trying to get into it.
Oh my goodness, already?
Yeah, we did. So it was opening night, so I'm trying to get into it, and I'm like, nah, it's not really me, but anyway, trying to not be a Grinch. But yeah, we moved over with 2 suitcases, so yeah, we basically rented a room in a lady's house, and she basically, in Basildon, she had like 6 rooms, and then she was renting them out to other people. So we're doing like, and her as well. And we literally had 2 single beds and then like a radio, and that was it. So we lived there for a couple of weeks, and my mom was like, couldn't do it, because living in someone else's house with all these other lodgers, and I was only 6 or 7. So she, you know, and we had nothing. We didn't have a car. We had to have to like walk to buses, and we'd never lived in this country. We had no family, and obviously in the UK. So that was really hard. Like my mom I never went without, but my mom obviously did. She like had beans on toast and all of that. She was really struggling, and I think as well because the rand is a lot weaker than the pound, so we didn't have a lot to bring over. And my mom and dad's divorce was quite messy, so there wasn't amicable. I can't speak. It wasn't very. He wasn't
friendly.
Yeah, it wasn't friendly. He wasn't going to give
nice.
us. Yeah, he wasn't going to tell us. Woo, here you go. Like it wasn't very good. So yeah, we did really, really struggle. And then obviously we got a flat in Basildon after a couple of months when we had saved up enough and rented that. And then my mom met a man. I love my mom to bits, but she's like has had very failed relationships, you know. She's been engaged like 4 times, but she's just a hopeless romance. I think she just wants to, you know, she just wants to find Mr. Right. So she met someone, and we moved up to Scotland, and he lived in Scotland. So yeah.
Okay. And you talk about your schooling like in a really lovely positive way, like the best experience ever. It sounds like you had amazing friends and who really kind of nurtured you and looked after you. Is that how you would describe it?
Yeah, I think I was very fortunate, because I think a lot of people in my condition struggle quite a lot with school, like high school experiences or primary school, and I think they've had negative things happen, and I was very fortunate, not saying fortunate not to get bullied or anything, and I didn't go to a posh place. Like I lived in Trent, I went to Ross High School, if you know it. It's not very posh, or you know, so I think school was totally fine. I had a very good group of friends who were very protective. I think being little, you kind of had that protective aspect. When you see someone who's little, you know, you want to look after them and protect them. So I was shielded a lot, and a lot of times people just kind of just knew me as Meryl. Like I didn't, you know, I didn't experience any negative aspects of high school and primary school, which I'm glad, because I think being little outside is quite a hard aspect, you know, getting stared at or pointed at, or I don't think the public have really accepted my condition. So I would have really struggled to have to deal with that at school as well as outside. So I was quite lucky that I had like a really like positive experience with school.
I mean, you talk about that because I heard you talk about that in the podcast as well, and I was kind of thinking, and Erica is obviously like so protective of you.
Yeah.
And I thought about kind of you're putting yourself into situations that anyone would be really scared to put themselves into. You know, you're going to big openings. You're going. You were down at Instagram head office.
Yes.
You know, there's some stuff that, you know, I would be terrified of, but you've got that kind of added kind of weight on your shoulders, which is, you know, that people are kind of, you heard someone talking
about me.
And I just wondered, like, how do you kind of find the resilience to get through this? There must be like sometimes you think, oh, for fuck's sake, I can't do it. You know, this is really hard. Where do you go to kind of like let off steam? Or
well, I go to therapy. I pay for therapy. No, not because of that. I recently been in therapy for, oh my goodness, but since 2022. So I've been there, and I think I'll probably always do that. I do it twice a month. I just go to an actual place. But yeah, I think that's really helped me, because I think it's hard, because a lot of the times when I explain, like, obviously I have friends that I can like say like, oh, this is how I feel in this, but no one really gets it. And I think I was just like, I need to start. I think I really did struggle the whole way through high school, and the whole way like not actual the high school aspect, but like teenage years with my condition, accepting it. And then I think that added on pressure when you go outside, and then other people stare and other people point. And I think I was just so angry, because I was like, I can't change, you know, I can't wake up tomorrow and be 5'5", you know, it's really frustrating. And I think a lot of times people think like, oh, they're just staring, but you know, when you're having a bad day and then it happens like that. So I think a lot of times I just ignore it and stuff, or I'll like smile, or it happens a lot with kids, and I obviously understand like kids don't understand and kids don't know, and they just say, you know, all of that. But I think when it's like 20 kids a day, it's a lot. And you know, when you go into different things, and I think I struggled when I vented to people because they would try and give me their opinion. I'm like, yeah, but you don't know. Like you can just say from your point of view, but you don't know what it's like. So when I go down to like when I went to the Wicked premiere and all of that, I felt like that was a breeze because I've been in so much worse situations that going into like a shop and then I'd have to deal with that all the time, or going on a walk, or you know, going through a busy place and I have to deal with people staring. So going to a Wicked premiere with lots of flash lights and all that wasn't bad because that was all nice and positive, like looking at. But that's worse. So yeah, I think it helps me when people think they're nervous about other big things. I'm like, no, that's a breeze compared to what other things I deal with on day to day.
And I think when I heard you talk about kind of, we can get on to kind of being an influencer, you know, there's obviously Traitors and things that kind of led you to being an influencer, but how do you find kind of forming friendships with people that might have not lived kind of as experienced a life as you have? How do you find like making friends?
It's quite hard. I had a big group of friends the whole way through high school and primary school, and then after, like, you know, people like after the show, the Traitors and stuff, I kind of just like drifted away from a lot of people. So I lost like that big group of friends, and I've lost a couple of people in my life. So I've kind of struggled because I've obviously lost a lot of people that I had years of friendship with, and now trying to navigate making new friends. Like I've made a new friend with Erica, which is amazing. And then it's quite hard though when you go to influencer events and you speak to people, and obviously they've not had the same life experiences as you, so you kind of struggle in that aspect because you're kind of like, you can't really relate, but then you're trying to relate to them, but you can't really, you know. So I think I just sometimes click straight away with someone, or sometimes I just don't. Or sometimes it's just people you say hi to when you go to events and you see them, you're like, oh, hi. Or you sit beside them for a couple of hours, but you're not going to ask them to go for a coffee the next day. But yeah, I think it's different because it's kind of like we're all being forced to be friends sometimes when we go to events and stuff. But I can talk to anyone about anything for as long as you want to talk. So to us, I'll be anyone's friend, you know. So,
but it is sometimes that connection that comes from something hard that's happened in your life. Yeah. Like, you know, we talk a lot in the Egg podcast. You know, I started Egg because my dad died in 2017, and he was a big inspiration to me. And my mum had died kind of previously, and I'd kept it all kind of pretty quiet. And then I thought, you know, I need to celebrate their lives, and I want to, my life moved in a different direction because I thought you don't get a huge amount of time on this earth. And I've since kind of opening up about grief, and I've lost my stepson and lots of other really important people in my life. Kind of being vulnerable and opening up allows other people to do the same. And with that, you find connection. So connected with lots of people who have lost people important in their life. And sometimes it's like, it's a positive that comes out of tough times. But I know what you mean. You know, if to speak to someone that hasn't maybe gone through that level of pain, it can be hard sometimes to find a connection. Yeah,
and in your situation as well, you'll be bonding on something that you both like feel so strongly about, and you have that in common. Yeah, with me and Erica, we've not got similar like backgrounds, but we have had an easy life. So I think because we've not all had like sunshine and roses, like we kind of just, the first day we met after we went shopping, we kind of just trauma dumped in the car after. We just said, this is who I am, this is everything about me, this is what's happened in my life, this is, and she said things that I didn't even know about her as well, and like her life, and like I just knew Erica from social media and vice versa. So I think it's like you really strip that back and get to know them as a real person. And I think after that we were kind of like had that deeper connection. That's why we just get along so well, because we just get each other. But I think when I try and relate, you know, even a lot of my other friends, like they've not had traumas or they've not had that, and we're still just as close. But I think with me and Erica, we're on like a deeper level because we kind of get it with each other.
Yeah, and then there's some friendships that are not forever, you know, they're for a certain period of your life, and you kind of have to be okay with that. I think there's lots that's been written kind of in the Egg group about people being ghosted, you know, people losing friendships, people being lonely. But, you know, I think there's a lot to be said for recognising that actually some of your friends will only be with you for a short amount of time. And that's okay. You know, it's not anything to do with kind of you. Often it's to do with kind of them, or just it was a period of your life and they were great for that, but actually things have moved on.
You're not got that much in common. Yeah, 100%. I think because when I lost all those people, I lost I lost quite a lot. I lost like 20 people, so it was quite a lot. Yeah, I had like a big group of friends, and then I had like lots of other individuals. So I lost all in the space of a year. So there was quite a lot of people to lose. So I had like, so I struggled from that aspect because I went from having lots and lots of friends.
When you say lose, did they die?
No, they didn't die. No, like, sorry. They're all still alive. I hope. No, they are all still alive. I don't have any bad blood with anyone. Like I genuinely got to a point of like, but no, I just drifted away from everyone, and probably reflecting on situations, I probably think, I probably was in the wrong, or I probably could have fixed a lot of situations had I like taken a step back. But sometimes on the point of like I need to take step backs at situations. Sometimes you just go in and you should really go and sit down for 5 minutes and then come back. So I think thinking about things now, I probably could have handled a lot of situations differently. But yeah, in the space of a year, I lost like 90% of my friends. So I really struggled.
What point was that? Was that kind of
after the show? So it was probably about April 2023 after the show had aired. The show had aired in 2022, like December, November. So April 2023, and that whole year I lost like the whole 2023 I lost like all my friends. So I think I really struggled from that aspect of having a big group of friends. I used to see about 5 individual people. I'd see everyone all day. I'd always have things to do and always have people to go with and stuff like that, to then having like not really a lot. Like I still have like my best friends, but they're obviously busy and stuff at times. But then to go from nothing, basically, well, still have friends. If they're listening, I just still have friends. But yeah, so I think I struggled that. And then learning how to make friends in your 20s is so much different and so harder than people actually think. And I remember when I had lots of friends, people would say, oh my god, when I listen to people, so hard making friends in your 20s. I'm like, I won't have that problem because I have my friends and I don't need any friends and all of that. And now then I was like, oh my god, shit, how do I make friends? How do I talk to people? How do I connect to people? What do I do? Because I don't meet them from school. I don't meet from high school. So yeah, that was quite hard navigating that. So when the friendship with Erica became so easy, it was like, this is too good to be true. Obviously we're friends, but we have our arguments and stuff, but I think it's very like healthy for us, we work for it. And she's very big into communication, whereas I'm not. I'm a runner, so like anything happens, I'm just like, I'm done. And then whereas she's like, no, let's talk about it, like, why do you feel like this? And I'm like, this is very weird, whereas I'm like, she's like, okay, this is awkward now, I'm done, like, goodbye, like, that's it, done. Whereas that's why I need to learn communication. So but yeah, I think it's quite hard. And I think on our podcast we talk about making friends in your 20s, and that resonated a lot with a lot of people. They were like, oh my god, I feel like I'm not the only one, and I really struggled. And I love how there's like this hope that you can still make friends in your 20s and how easy it was. And I'm just going to message someone and ask them for a coffee, because my therapist was like, I spoke to her, I was like, I have no friends in the industry, I don't know what to do. And she was like, well, just find someone. Who do you like from in Edinburgh, like who does the same thing as you do? I was like, oh, I went to an event with Erica a couple of weeks ago, she's quite nice. And she's like, just message her, ask her coffee. And I was like, oh, she says no, this is embarrassing. And she's like, well, if she says no, that's fine, let's just message someone else. I was like, okay. And I was like, message her, she replied back an hour later, we met that day, and then that was it.
Oh,
yeah, so it was like easy. I was like to my therapist Karen, I was like, oh, you're amazing. So yeah, but I think it's just literally just not being fear of rejection. That's what I was scared of as well. Like, that's embarrassing if she says no, but obviously she didn't. But if anyone did say no, then that's fine. Then just, it's not that deep. I think I'm just thinking now, like, you only have one life, and then that's it. And I think living in South Africa really put that in retrospect, because I'm always like, one day that's it, like, this is all we're gonna have, so why do I care, or why am I bothered, so yeah.
JFDI, just fucking do it.
Just fucking do it. Exactly. That's what I say. Yeah. Like the podcast, we're like, let's start a podcast. Let's do it. Let's do it. Like, what are we waiting for? Like, I think a lot of people talk about things for years and they never actually do it. And I'm like, just start. But they're like, but how do we do it? I'm like, well, let's just figure it out. If we make a mistake, then that's fine. We'll learn from it. But just start. Yeah. If you don't start, you'll never know. Yeah. I'm very much like that. I'm like an action. I hate it when people talk about things. I'm like, just do it. Like, if you don't want to do it, then stop wasting a year talking about it. You know? Or they're like, it's going to be so big. But I'm like, but you've not even started it. So you've still not even worked on it for it. Yeah. I'm like, come on. I think I've got raging ADHD, but I'm very much like that. So yeah.
One thing that I noticed, and I kind of love you for it, is that it feels like you've been fired from quite a lot of jobs along the way. I talk a lot about kind of my long winding career. I've done like loads and loads of jobs. It sounds like you have too.
Yes.
Tell me about a couple of those situations where you've been
so I've
told
worked
to let go.
So I've worked, where have I worked? I've worked like selling solar panels. You know, where you like phone them, you get a phone book, and we worked above a pub in Leaf, and I got all my friends to work there, and it was based on commission, so it was commission based, and I just couldn't do it. Like, I tried my hardest, and I'd end up phoning these people. Like, I phoned an elderly gentleman who was like 90, and he hadn't spoken to anyone. I was like, oh no. So I spoke to him for 40 minutes, and that was a black like mark against my name. I still didn't get a sale. So I've worked in the solar panel industry. I've worked, what else have I done? I worked in charity shops. I used to be this lady's, like, basically I'd scan photocopies for her, but in Haddington, so I'd have to walk before I could drive. So I'd have to get the bus, and I'd just walk all the way to her house. She was an IFA, a financial advisor, and I'd just scan, and I think I mucked up the invoice one day, and she let me go. The solar panels as well, is fired from that. H&M call centre, then H&M India call centre, which is completely different. So we'd be the call centre for India. So they would then call us about their returns, but they're a different kettle of fish, because they're very chilled at H&M India compared to H&M the UK. So I did that first, and I'd be like to them, I'd be like, maybe your parcel arrived next week. They're like, okay. And I was like, fab. And then I go to UK, and they're like, I want it today. And I was like, okay. I was like, I don't think I'm good at this one. So yeah, that one.
And end call.
Yeah, end call. That's why when I call test, they're just like, I know what you do when you put me on hold. I was like, you're not actually. I was like, because I've worked there.
Offer a cup of coffee.
Yeah, or put them on hold and sit down, check your phone, shower, wash your hair. My mom was like, you need to put a sign on when you're working there. I was like, I am working. Because I did that COVID. That was my COVID job. But my manager was such a lovely person. He was so sweet. So yeah, I've kind of done everything. So I think that gave me good, because I've also, like, when I used to work 40 hours a week at H&M, and I used to get £300 a week, so it's not a lot of money. So now, in retrospect, like, I know what it's like, to work, so that's why I'm so lucky to be in the job I am now, and because I take it so for granted, because I know I used to work, like, wake up at like 6, go to sit in a call centre all day, and earn nothing, basically. So that's why I'm very grateful to be where I am.
So you've done the graft.
Yes.
And also what the kind of skill that I think you have. You're a great conversationalist.
Thank you.
All that time on the phone, like speaking to people about their H&M order, has paid off, because now you've got a podcast.
Yeah, I can just talk to anything about anyone. Yeah, exactly. So that has benefited a lot. At the time, I would have not said that, but
nothing's
definitely.
a waste of time.
Nothing's a waste of time. 100%. It always builds on.
Exactly. So let's talk about Traitors. How did you see that they were looking for people? Were you straight in there? Was it, because one of my friends applied, and I was thinking the other day, like, when I knew I was going to speak to you, that she had said, if I get on, I can't tell anyone. And she's actually gone really quiet recently, and I'm like, I'm going to text her and say, are you on?
They filmed. I think they've already filmed. So, because it's coming out on January the 1st. So they would have probably already filmed in May, June. July.
Right.
So was she quiet around
She was quiet then. She's been quiet ever since she said she was going for the audition. So she's had like 2 telephone things.
You should text just be like, right,
I don't think she'll tell me though, will she?
Yeah.
Did you have to keep it quiet for a long time?
We did. So yeah, we did. I told my mom, obviously, and I told my gran, and I told some of my friends. Probably not very quiet. But yeah, I basically got message on Instagram. So I was meant to be going on to, oh my goodness, what's The Circle in 2020, but it was a UK version. But because COVID, they moved it to the American version. But the producer from The Circle was then casting for the Traitors, and they were like, oh, just message Meryl. So I got a message request on Instagram, and I was like, do you want to apply for the Traitors? It was very bleak. It had like 3 women standing in cloaks, and I was like, this is so weird. And then my mom was like, again, say yes to everything, say yes, you never know what's for leads. So I was like, yep, let's go. So I messaged, I was like, yeah, let's go for this. And then I had to go for the audition process, the interviews, the execs meetings and all of that. And then I got told, like, okay, that's fine, you can go to Inverness 2 weeks time. I was like, great. So I had to tell my manager. I was like, Richard, I'm going away. Might be back in 2 weeks, I might be back in a month. And he was like, okay. But obviously in call centre wasn't a high paying job, so it was kind of like, okay, that's fine, you're not going to get paid when you go away. I was like, I know that, I get no sick pay, I know I don't get anything. So yeah, so I went away and I came back a month and a half, and came back around about, what was it again, mid-June, and then I had to stay quiet until it came out in November, December. So you have that break of like knowing you've won, and then knowing you've had this amazing experience, but especially being the first season, no one even knew what it was. So it wasn't like Love Island or Big Brother. You kind of like, oh, it was this, and they're like, oh, right, okay, I get that. But I've tried to explain to people, my mom, she's like, what? And I was like, yeah, so everyone's walking around cloaks and they're trying, what? And I was like, it's fine, it's fine. When it comes out, you can watch it. I've won, Mom, okay? I've won, it's okay. So I told her. And then I quit my job probably around about the December time. So after the show aired and stuff, I kind of was like, I didn't ever want to go back. That was my main ambition in life. I didn't want to, not main ambition in life. Main ambition after winning the money was just to quit my job because I was so unhappy in it. It wasn't, I didn't live, breathe, and dream of working at H&M customer service. So I was kind of like, I just want to leave. So yeah, when I left, that was the happiest time.
And did you know whilst you were filming, did you get a sense of this is going to be big? Like, I think this is really good? Or
there was like 400 crew. There was quite a big, it was quite a big crew, but I still didn't think, because I was kind of like, I think it's such a niche market, you know, with the whole cloaks and everything like that. I kind of thought, I think either people will get it or they just won't get it. And I hoped it was big, but I didn't think it would change my life. Like I'm quite a glass half empty, even though I look like glass half full. I didn't want to get my hopes up and think, oh my God, this is my big break, and then nothing happened.
Richard, I'm out of here.
And then be like, that's it. Because I obviously see other shows like The Rise and Fall, what's it called? Rise and Fall. There's other shows on Channel 4 or other shows that they don't have that much success. So I wasn't going to I knew it wasn't going to be like a Love Island. I was hoping it would be, so we can get the followers and then we can obviously run with that, but obviously it didn't have that aspect, but at least it has been so successful as well.
And how soon after it aired did you think, how quickly did your life change?
Probably a couple of months, probably like April, May. Probably, so it was a while, because obviously people did watch, and then it was probably like April, May, then people started telling other people, and then it started getting bigger, but it wasn't as big straight away. It was big, but it wasn't as big. I think it grew when it was all on BBC iPlayer. I think the biggest time, because then people could just binge watch all 12 episodes. But at the time of filming, there was like 3 and then there was 5, but then it kind of lost a couple of people around. You know, November, December time is busy. You know, everyone's Christmas. But I think at that time, I think that's when it really boomed, especially when it's cold and everyone had nothing to do. They're like, let's watch TV.
And did you get to see the final episodes before it went live, or were you watching it at the same time as us? And what was going through your head when you were watching it?
It was good. It was really good. I think I was a bit like, because obviously they had 22 contestants, so it's hard to capture everyone's personality. So a lot of people were like to me, "You're so quiet." I was like, "No, I wasn't." I was like, but they had different story. Oh, sorry, stop. They had different apologies. They had different storylines to follow, and they obviously had different people to go down. So I wasn't really showing that much at the beginning, but obviously come like, I think it was around like episode 8, 7, then I was really shown a lot more, because obviously there was less people. But yeah, it was hard to capture everyone, I think. So that's why we did the podcast. We can show our personalities, and I can be like, I promise you guys, I'm not shy. I'm really, I like to speak. But yeah.
And when did you get your hands on the money? Because obviously it was a share of the 100,000.
Yes, we got 35 grand each, and that was probably around the last episode. Then that aired, we got that.
Nice. And how did that feel?
Good. I quit my job and I was like, that's it. I know everyone's like, I'm going to do this.
What was that call to Richard like?
I think he already knew. I didn't think we even needed the call. He was kind of like, yeah.
You've seen the show,
yeah. He was the best man ever. He was so lovely. He was such a good boss.
Call out to Richard for being a good boss.
Thank you, Richard, for keeping me on as long as you did. But yeah, it was really good. So that's all I wanted to do. That's what I said. A lot of people were like, I want to go on holiday. I want to do this. I just want to quit my job. That was it. And then I just wanted to have that money so I can try and pursue something else. And obviously a lot's happened from then, and we're working and doing a lot of stuff. So yeah, but it all has done well. Touch wood.
Amazing. And talk to me about your relationship with money, because I know you mentioned about, you know, coming over from South Africa, you didn't have much. When you get given that kind of amount of money, how do you, I know some of what you've spent it on, but then kind of going forward, I'm thinking about your relationship with sponsors, and it was so funny how you talk about some of your sponsors on your podcast.
Yes.
But how do you have someone helping you manage your money, or how do you feel about it now? Yeah,
well, we don't even have sponsors. We're trying to get sponsorship for the podcast. We're actually self-funding that right now.
Okay.
So yeah, that's quite hard. I'm very much a saver. I like to save money. I think it's because I never had it obviously at the beginning and stuff, and living in Essex. So I've always just saved, and my biggest fear is to go back to my normal day-to-day life, my normal day-to-day job. So as long as I've got this pocket of money, then I keep that, and then that can be it. So in case anything happens, that buy me more time, if that makes sense. So I think my biggest thing is, like, I'm not a materialistic person. I love freedom. So I think my money buys freedom, and that's all I want. Like, I don't want a bag. I don't want any materialistic object. As long as it can buy me freedom, that I don't have to go and work 9 to 5 at the jobs I was working before. That's the best present I could ever buy myself, you know? So I've always just keep like a float of money so I can nip in and out and make sure I don't have to ever go back to my normal life. That's my biggest thing.
You talked about one of your, because you work with kind of some businesses, don't you? Like organ donation.
Organ donation, yeah. That was actually quite a good one because my gran and my mom love organ donation. Well, they love organ donation. They are organ donors, and myself as well.
They love organ donation.
Yeah, they love organ
donation. They love giving away their organs.
Yeah. So they're organ donation, yeah. So we all have always done that as well, because we obviously have seen, like, I think my gran's friend passed away and she donated, and we've seen the whole like story of that, and I was like, oh, so it is quite close to our hearts.
Nice.
So yeah, but it's interesting this job because you work with different things, like different like brands you'd never normally think of working with. Like I did a campaign with Shoe, so it's always different. And
do they approach you? You approach them? How does it work? And is there someone helping you kind of get what you deserve financially from those partnerships?
So I have a manager. So I have management in London, and they kind of like outreach, which is quite good.
That's good.
And then they send it to me, and then I accept or decline. But I say yes to everything. So yes, within reason, obviously. But yes, yeah.
And talk to me about your screen time. So it's something Elena and I were speaking about, kind of screen time yesterday, and I was getting a notification of how much time I was spending on my phone, which I thought was quite frightening. But how do you, when you're an influencer and you've got loads of time kind of promoting yourself and podcasts, how do you manage your relationship with your phone? Do you manage it? Do you know what your screen time is? I was going to ask you, like, are you okay to share how much you spend?
My screen time is very bad.
Do you know where to find it? Because I didn't know where to find it. Oh, you do. You're on it already.
Yeah, it's very bad. Let me have a little look.
Yes, it's got daily average, hasn't it?
About 9.6 hours.
9.6. Okay.
But it's very bad because I'm actually still very lazy. I still have so many things I still need to actually post and stuff. But it's very, because I just think I just sit doom scroll, and that's bad. So I think.
So what's your most popular app?
Sorry, it is Instagram for 15 hours and 21 minutes, then WhatsApp, then TikTok.
Right. Okay. I bet you couldn't guess what my most when Elena and I looked. I'll give you £1,000 if you can guess.
Sky News.
Oh.
Sky News. I don't know. It just was quite random. Sky. My best friend Ben, he literally has notifications like, Ben, what are you actually going to do? I was like, what? They're not sending it to you personally. Why do you have notifications for Sky News? Okay.
Does it go like?
I was sending the pantomime yesterday. I was like, and he was literally like, I was like, what are you going to do then? I was like, do I run out and deal with this right now? I was like, they're not contacting you personally. He was like, I know that, Meryl. I was like, why do you have notifications on? I think he's like, he wants to know everything. Wait, I don't know. WhatsApp? No.
No.
Photos? No.
No.
Instagram?
No.
Shall
I tell you?
Yes, tell me.
This is a sign of how exciting my life is.
Tell me.
Google Maps.
Google Maps! Google Maps! Wow. That is crazy. I don't even use Google Maps. I use normal maps. You must be going everywhere all the time.
I feel like I'm not, but I don't know if it was that one day. Maybe I got a bit lost.
Yes. And you just kept it on all day.
So it's quite sad. But you're quite strict. Do you have notifications going off quite a lot on your phone? How do you manage to switch off at night?
I have no notifications. So I turned them all off like 2 years ago, which is very bad. So right now someone could text me saying help, and I have no idea. Because unless they need me, they can call me.
Some friends you are, right?
Yeah, I know. Eric always shouts at me. I think because I don't even know why, because I set my phone all the time. So I do reply back instantly. But I just hated the aspect of like it popping up. Or if I'm in the car with people and I'm driving and they're on my phone, like being the DJ, like I don't want anything to pop up in case, it's private or something. So I just have no notifications. Absolutely not.
Brilliant. So, yeah. And you sleep okay?
Yeah, I sleep fine.
Is your phone beside your bed?
Yeah, I do. Okay. And I sleep with my dog. So I'm like, as long as my dogs are okay and my mom's next door and my gran is, well, when she comes back to the UK, then I'll be even more better. Then I'm like, I'm fine. I'm very content.
Lovely. And tell me, we're finishing up, so don't worry. I know you've got to go. What's the plan for the future? Like if you're looking ahead, I'm 50, 51 actually. What's 50-year-old Meryl doing?
50-year-old Meryl? I hope 50-year-old Meryl has no phone. I'd love that. It's very weird.
Phone?
I know. I want to be kind of like Margot Robbie kind of aspect, like nice. No Instagram, nothing. 50-year-old Meryl is very content and financially free. 50-year-old Meryl has got businesses or like doing, maybe hopefully presenting, being the TV thing, but hopefully I don't have to be on my phone. So yeah, that's my biggest aspect. There's no phone.
I love
hopefully. Free from like,
phone
I don't want to be posting Instagram when I'm 50. Like someone else can post it for me.
Do you think Instagram will still be around when you're 50?
Probably changed it.
Yeah. You're a TikTok girl anyway, aren't
TikTok,
you?
yes. But that's bad because you scroll.
Yes. And I did hear that you told the people at Instagram that you much prefer TikTok.
TikTok. I know. I forget all the time where I am. It's very bad. It's very, very bad.
So 50-year-old Meryl is financially free and phone free.
Hopefully. Touch wood.
I love that. Yes. And finally, how would you like to be remembered?
Wow. A good person. I'd like to be good. Yeah, I'd love to leave a lot of things. My passion is animals. So obviously we didn't really touch on it, but that's my biggest passion in life is animals. So I'd love to, it's my dream, my actual dream is to have my own animal rescues all worldwide and change animal rights in third world countries and try and up for animals. That's always been my passion since like the age of 5. Talking is a passion as well. Talking makes money, animals doesn't. So I need to do this aspect for the animals. But yeah, I'd love to leave a lot of stuff for animals. So I'd love to leave like, you know, like charities and organizations and stuff. That'd be my biggest thing. So hopefully a good person. Hopefully. So yeah.
Meryl's Animal Hospital.
Animal Hospital,
with no phones.
With no phones.
You'll need to find another way to get in touch with that hospital.
Email.
And tell us about your live show that you've got coming up. We'd love to tell everyone about it.
Please. So it's 11th of December, which is Wednesday, from 7 o'clock until 9 at Coco's below Tiger Lily. And you can get your tickets still on our podcast page, on Instagram or on TikTok. And please come, because we really would like to see a lot of people there.
Amazing.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Meryl. It's been wonderful speaking to you, and all the best with the future.
Thank you, and thank you for having me. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Yay.
Thank you.